The US dollar opens Sunday's trading session in Iraq on a weaker note, with the exchange rate in the parallel market hovering around 153,000 Iraqi dinars per 100 US dollars. According to a market survey reported by Shafaq News, the US dollar traded in Baghdad's Al-Khifa and Al-Harithia exchanges at 153,300 Iraqi dinars per 100 US dollars. This represented a decline from the previous trading session, when the dollar was exchanged at approximately 153,750 dinars per $100. Although the change appears relatively small, even modest movements in Iraq's currency market are closely monitored by traders, businesses, importers, and ordinary citizens because they can influence market expectations and consumer confidence. In Baghdad's local exchange shops, the selling price of the US dollar reached 153,750 Iraqi dinars per $100, while the buying price stood at 152,750 dinars. Meanwhile, in Erbil, the capital of the Kurdistan region, exchange shops offered the US dollar at a selling price of 153,050 Iraqi dinars per $100 and a buying price of 152,900 dinars. These figures indicate that the exchange market remained active across different regions of Iraq, although prices varied slightly depending on the city and the exchange business involved. The decline in the dollar's value at the opening of trading attracted attention because the foreign exchange market in Iraq has experienced frequent fluctuations over recent years. Currency traders closely watch daily movements, even when they are relatively small, because they may reflect changing market sentiment or adjustments in supply and demand. While a movement of a few hundred dinars per $100 may not seem dramatic, it often becomes an important indicator for businesses planning imports, exchange companies managing liquidity, and individuals who regularly buy or sell foreign currency. It is important to understand that Iraq operates with both an official exchange rate established by the Central Bank of Iraq and a parallel market rate that develops through buying and selling activity in local exchange markets. The official rate is used for many government and banking transactions, while the parallel market reflects actual trading among exchange companies, merchants, travelers, and members of the public. Because these two markets serve different purposes, their exchange rates are not always identical. The figures reported today refer specifically to the parallel market, where prices respond directly to daily demand and supply conditions. Several factors can influence the value of the US dollar in Iraq's parallel market. One of the most important is demand from importers. Iraq imports a significant amount of consumer goods, food products, machinery, electronics, medical equipment, and construction materials. Many of these transactions require payment in US dollars. When importers need more dollars to pay overseas suppliers, demand increases, and the exchange rate in the parallel market may rise. Conversely, when demand eases or the supply of dollars improves, the market rate may move lower. The supply of dollars also plays a major role in determining market prices. Commercial banks, licensed exchange companies, and other financial institutions participate in distributing foreign currency throughout the economy. Changes in the availability of dollars can affect pricing in exchange markets across Baghdad, Erbil, and other cities. If traders believe that the supply of dollars will remain stable or improve, confidence may increase, encouraging lower prices in the parallel market. Market psychology is another important factor. Currency markets are influenced not only by economic fundamentals but also by expectations. If traders expect greater dollar availability in the coming days, some may reduce purchases or delay buying, contributing to lower prices. On the other hand, concerns about future supply could encourage increased buying, pushing rates higher. Expectations often shape short-term market movements even when broader economic conditions remain unchanged. The figures reported today suggest that the market opened in a relatively calm manner. Rather than experiencing a sharp increase or sudden decline, the exchange rate moved modestly lower compared with the previous session. Such movements are common in currency markets and do not necessarily indicate a major shift in Iraq's economic outlook. Instead, they often reflect routine adjustments as buyers and sellers respond to current market conditions. For Iraqi consumers, daily exchange rate movements matter because they can influence the prices of imported products. Many household goods sold in Iraq originate from foreign markets and are purchased using US dollars. If the dollar becomes more expensive over an extended period, import costs may rise, and businesses may eventually pass some of those costs on to consumers. Likewise, If the dollar weakens over time, import costs could ease, potentially helping stabilize prices. However, a single day's movement is generally too small to have an immediate effect on retail prices. Business owners also pay close attention to exchange rates when planning purchases and managing expenses. Companies involved in importing products must estimate future currency costs before placing international orders. Stable exchange rates reduce uncertainty and allow businesses to prepare more accurate budgets. Frequent fluctuations, however, can complicate planning and increase financial risk, especially for smaller businesses with limited resources. Exchange companies themselves operate within a competitive market environment. The difference between buying and selling prices, commonly known as the spread, represents an important part of their business model. Today's reported figures demonstrate that exchange companies maintained relatively narrow spreads, allowing them to manage operational costs while providing currency exchange services to customers. Slight differences between Baghdad and Erbil are common and can result from local demand, transportation costs, and varying trading activity. Travelers are another group affected by currency movements. Iraqis planning trips abroad often need US dollars for transportation, accommodation, education expenses, or tourism. Even modest changes in exchange rates can affect the amount of local currency required to purchase foreign currency. While today's decline slightly reduced the cost of buying dollars compared with the previous session, the overall impact for individual travelers would likely be limited due to the relatively small change. International investors and financial analysts also monitor Iraq's currency market because exchange rate stability contributes to a predictable business environment. Stable currency markets help businesses evaluate investment opportunities and manage financial planning. Although many factors influence investment decisions, including regulations, infrastructure, security, and economic policy, exchange rate consistency remains an important consideration. The Central Bank of Iraq continues to play a significant role in maintaining financial stability. Through its monetary policies and banking regulations, the central bank seeks to support confidence in the financial system and ensure the availability of foreign currency for legitimate commercial activities. While daily market prices fluctuate based on supply and demand, the broader objective of monetary authorities is to encourage orderly market conditions and reduce excessive volatility. It is worth noting that currency markets rarely move in a perfectly straight line. Periods of decline are often followed by recoveries, while increases may later be reversed. Daily changes should therefore be viewed within the broader context of longer-term trends rather than interpreted in isolation. Investors and consumers alike generally benefit from observing developments over time instead of drawing conclusions from a single trading session. Today's opening rates indicate that trading remained active but orderly across Iraq's major exchange markets. The reported decline from 153,750 dinars to 153,300 dinars per $100 represents a moderate adjustment rather than a dramatic market event. Such changes occur regularly as market participants respond to evolving conditions throughout the trading day. Another aspect worth considering is that exchange rates can continue to change after the market opens. Morning prices do not necessarily represent closing prices. Throughout the day, additional buying and selling activity may push the rate higher, lower, or leave it relatively unchanged. Traders therefore continue monitoring the market as new transactions occur and fresh information becomes available. Economic confidence also contributes to currency stability. When businesses and consumers feel confident about financial conditions, trading activity tends to become more predictable. Conversely, periods of uncertainty can encourage greater caution, influencing both buying and selling decisions. Confidence is shaped by numerous domestic and international factors, including economic performance, banking conditions, and global financial developments. The relationship between the Iraqi dinar and the US dollar remains especially important because of Iraq's position in international trade. Many imported goods, international contracts, and financial transactions are conducted in dollars. As a result, movements in the exchange rate receive considerable public attention, particularly among merchants and consumers who rely on imported products. While exchange rate movements often generate headlines, experts generally recommend focusing on sustained trends rather than isolated daily changes. Markets naturally experience fluctuations, and small adjustments are part of normal trading activity. Long-term stability is typically a more meaningful indicator of overall market health than short-term volatility.